From Cape Town's mining Indaba to Barberton, the mining sector has been in a sombre mood. Of course, tragedy in Barberton and investment issues at the mining Indaba with much less enthusiasm than in previous years. We've also got wage talks expected to start in the coming weeks and prospects for further job losses weighing on workers and companies alike. Anglo American, for example, announcing that its job losses are going to be far more substantial than had originally been thought. It's looking to exit, for example, its position in Kumba iron ore. None of this is helping sentiment toward the mining sector. On this evening, the Moneymakers, we discuss the South African mining outlook within the context of what is a gloomy global picture. I'm Bruce Whitfield. My guest is Joseph Mathunjwa, President of the Association of Mineworkers and Construction Union, better known as AMCU. He has been in Barberton for much of the last 2 weeks, keeping an eye on the attempted rescue of 3 mine workers trapped inside a container. Just describe to me, Joseph Mathunjwa, what the position was in Barberton. It's an open cast mine. There was a rehabilitated part of the mine. The container in which the 3 miners were was on the surface.
On the surface.
And collapsed into the shaft.
I think the information received from the management, the cause of the collapse or the caving was the failure of the crown peel, which was holding the surface. So I don't want to get into the details whether did they follow the right procedures in terms of rehabilitating the area. We still have to establish when they were mining underground, how far did they mine, what level or size of the upper surface they left in order to sustain the surface. We don't know, but that will be established once the inquiry by the DMR is commissioned.
I mean, there's been a frantic rescue effort, and I mean, you've been very supportive, and I think the mine has been very grateful of your participation and the fact that you were there, I think, within 24 hours of the initial accident occurring. I heard one of the chief rescuers there just saying, thank you, Joseph Mathunjwa, for coming. He was very grateful that you were there. I mean, this is a human tragedy on an epic scale, and it's made so much worse by the fact that there were signs of life in the early stages of this attempted rescue mission, and it's all been but abandoned now with more rockfalls in the last couple of days.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the first time when the rescue started, I mean, there was a glimpse of really hope that yes, we are getting closer. With the EMS giving us information that yes, they did have a response from the container, that there's still people responding back to them. If they knock on the rock through their technology, let's say they knock 3 times and then they'll respond 3 times. That was giving us
a very clear sign that this wasn't earth movement or anything. It was a
yes,
tap, tap, tap. It was a tap, tap, tap response.
Exactly. And the finding of the wheel of the tire, which was against the lamp room, it also gave us that we are close by. And then subsequent to that, then there was this big rock fall again that we have to temporarily suspend the whole operation, which even on Sunday there was a huge rock fall, which again tempered. But this morning the management have sent their senior managers underground to check what the situation is, whether is it conducive, is safe for any person to go to resume rescue, or mission or operation. So we're still waiting for their feedback on that.
Let's park the Lily mine disaster for a moment. I mean, the South African mining industry under a huge amount of pressure. Broadly speaking, every single commodity that is mined is seeing its dollar price decline. Big restructurings being proposed by the likes of Anglo American, looking to hive off Kumba iron ore. Anglo Platinum could go into Sibanye. What is your sense of the state of play of what's quite a fluid mining sector right now?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's been coming. It's been coming. I think even yourself, you once mentioned some times ago that the state of the mining in South Africa is not good. They are not making money, which one also, others they blame on us of the 5-month strike. And then we were defending ourselves that should we continue earning slave salary for the majority of mine workers. Yeah, I mean, I think it's that vicious cycle that is coming, that one has to manage one way or another. Remember, these are the investors putting money, expecting more profit, or their in their returns. So I think the government has to come to the party now. I think maybe it's time of nationalisation. What do you think?
You know what? You know how to push my buttons, Joseph Mathunjwa. You know how to push my buttons. Welcome to nationalise the mines. There's some very nice mining operations. Lonmin, for example. I would love to see Lonmin nationalised and see whether or not it could be better run. As a nationalised mine, it'd be a great social experiment, don't you think?
No, but I mean, not really to be maybe trying to be maybe sarcastic by saying that, but the fact is, when you nationalise, we shouldn't look in the in the direction that it's about profit. When you nationalise, for me, is to employ more people, sustainable, not focusing on profit, super profits. It's about how to address unemployment. So if it's with the government won't be running. It's just to make ends meet, to be above water, not like the investors. That's the angle that I'm approaching when I talk about nationalisation.
It would still require massive capital investment. That capital would need to come from somewhere, and that capital would have to be repaid over a period of time.
Don't you think that South Africa does have money? I mean, if we can jungle around the expenditures that sometimes are questionable.
No, we're going to agree on that one completely. And the finance minister, as we speak, must be sitting in Pretoria pulling the last bits of hair that he has out of his head, trying to deal with this precise issue. We've got big budget problems. We've got big budget constraints. We're headed for probably the toughest budget in 22 years of our democracy. We want to move Parliament from Cape Town to Pretoria. That's I don't know, 100 billion rand job or thereabouts. I'm not too sure how much that's going to cost. South Africa's got huge constraints. How do you go into the next round of mine negotiations? You go in aiming high, 12,500. Is that still on the table, or are you aiming higher?
We haven't been given a mandate as of now. Our members still have to give us a mandate in terms of their demands, and of which, of course, those demands will be in line with the realities that one is facing on the ground. But it shouldn't be only the workers that should take a knock in terms of compromising their demands. I mean, the executives of the mine, they must also lead by example, I mean, in the situation like this. Everyone must bring its bit and pieces, I mean, on board to try and make the mine survive.
Now, how concerned are you that we're going to see substantial job losses through the mining sector?
It is a concern. I mean,
is it inevitable or just a concern?
No, I mean, whether it's inevitable or it's a concern, the fact of the matter, there will be families that they will suffer, community will suffer, the nation will suffer. How to minimize such impact? I think that is what must be drilled in all stakeholders, not only union or only the government or the tripartite, not that other tripartite, but the tripartite that we know. It's
a very different conversation today, isn't it, compared to the conversation that we were having 2 years ago following Marikana at the 5-month platinum strike on the platinum belt in Rustenburg, where there were very clearly two sides in this particular argument. It seems that there's a greater sense of a cohesive discussion now than there was then.
Yes, I mean, but also depend on what one brings on the table, because in most cases, unions are expected to perform miracles, and others are not expected to perform any miracle. So everyone must bring something on the table that seeks to sustain this mining industry. The government itself, decision that they make, they must see to it that doesn't have any negative knock-on effect going forward. So everyone must be, I mean, actually be responsible in whatever is doing or whatever is saying. Some of the negatives that we receive in the country was not from the union, was from the government itself. So it cannot everything be expected from the labor movement that are the one that are steering all the chaos in the mining industry.
Have you met the most recent mines minister?
Yes, I met him even at Barberton. We had a chat around other issues. Yes, I've met him.
Okay, have you had any serious discussion about the next round of wage talks, sustainability of the mining industry?
No.
Not on a formal basis yet?
No, we haven't. I think most of the effort he was just channeling of how to rescue those 3 mine workers. But around wages and the challenges of the mines selling by Anglo, we never touch on that.
Is there an opportunity? I had a discussion with Kgalema Motlanthe about this, and I said, here's the National Union of Mine Workers. It never invested in mines. Why not? And he was very clear that the National Union of Mine Workers could never have invested in mines because it didn't want to be on the opposite side of the negotiating table with its own members. Could AMCU lead a mine buyout? I mean, would it be something that, with capital, that you'd be interested in doing?
No, but I mean, AMCU doesn't have those deep pockets. Every money that the cents that we get from the workers is plowed back to the workers. You've seen during the strike, we've seen even with the massacre of Marikana, AMCU is still paying 12,500 to those widows up to date because the government hasn't settled, I mean, the bill.
When is that going to be settled?
I think it depends on the government whether it's prepared to settle it or not. Because
I just listened to you, and you this is just an observation. You're a calmer guy today than you were back in the days of the platinum strike. Are you?
No,
or are you still cross?
No, not that I'm cross. I'm still the Joseph that you saw in 2012. Nothing has changed. I'm still adamant. I still believe that the workers must get decent salary, decent work, and the conditions of employment must be intact. I haven't changed.
But my sense is that you are willing to see the other side of the equation, and you're hoping that mine owners, shareholders, stakeholders broadly will see the side of the workers.
I've been seeing it even before.
Okay.
Even with the 5-month strike, I've been seeing it's the only union that we negotiated from July until the following year, and bringing many options to the company until they realize it after 5-month strike that, oh yes, Joseph, you are correct, we can move with this option.
Were you correct, considering the fact that we've got platinum mines being mothballed, we've got platinum mines being sold off to the likes of Sibanye, which are very big on cost containment? Inevitably, there will be jobs lost.
I think here in South Africa, there are companies, there are investors, investing black companies that are willing to take these mines. I don't think that was only Sibanye that was kind of the only good boy that was seen as a savior. I mean, in the platinum sector. No, there are black companies who were willing to put money in this mine, but they were never given an opportunity. I think many black business people in South Africa, they are prepared to put the money in the mining. It's just these big mines, they just have their own mission, they've got their own under tactics, how do they want to sell their mines. But give it to other people, many people they want to buy. If you can look at the list of how many people were lining to buy, I mean, these assets from Anglo, you'll be shocked.
But did they? Did they have the wherewithal to do it?
Yes, I mean, some of them, they with skills. I mean, they've been miners, some mine overseers, some geologists, some financial gurus, I mean, in those mines. It's not just a person, just we take it from the shelf, not knowing about the mining. Those guys, they've got expertise. It's just they were not given an opportunity by Anglo. But now I think they will realize that these people, they had to be given a chance.
There we go. Joseph Mathunjwa, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for coming in. Joseph Mathunjwa, President of AMCU, the Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union. Yep, we got the Lily mine crisis, of course, still very much at the forefront of South African thinking right now, as a reminder of the dangers, of course, of just how tough it is to work underground in the mining industry. Thank you for watching. Till tomorrow night, have a very good evening. Bye-bye.